So our third speaker is Simon Crine, who is going to be speaking to us as Interim Director of the Money and Mental Health Policy Institute. I first worked with Simon when we were both at Ofcom, and I worked with him again on switchover issues when he was at Digital UK. So I'm really looking forward to hearing him in his current capacity. Simon.
Thank you very much, Roger, and thank you, fellow speakers. It's going to be good to be able to, I think, confirm, agree and confirm with some of the analysis and thoughts that you've already put forward. Let's try and get to the right slide. We're there. Okay, so let me start by saying I'm Simon Crine. I'm the Director of the Money and Mental Health Policy Institute. There are probably some of you in the audience who don't actually know what the Institute is. So the charity is now the best part of 18 months old. It's very much a research and policy charity. It's a think tank, really, focused hard on that comorbidity between money problems and mental health problems. It was set up by Martin Lewis, consumer champion, star of ITV and whatever, and he chairs the organisation. And indeed, on any occasion when we need to go out there and grab public attention, it's Martin who does that for us. Indeed, one of the things that Martin's done for us very recently, I think is going to come to a happy fruition very shortly, which is that we wanted to support the campaign being run by all of the wonderful debt and financial advice agencies for breathing space, giving people a little bit of breathing space when they're in kind of financial crisis. And we wanted to extend the same to those who are in mental health crisis, and to make sure that that window can be provided for everyone. I think we're quite hopeful that in the next few days we're going to hear some good words from the government in support of that. And it's the kind of difference that Martin can make for us. So I wanted to say a little bit about the charity, and now let's get on to the beef. Now the thing about the beef is, I have got lots of slides, and there is a lot of detail. I'm not going to go through it all because I know...
We'll put it online.
Yeah, it'll be available. But I'm going to pick out some of the highlights as I go. So why do we think it matters? Well, just a refresher for all of us. I mean, at any point in time, around 1 in 4 of us has mental health problems. Through a lifetime, half of us are going to have mental health problems at one time or another. So, and you may say, well, that it's only a minority who have severe mental health problems, and that is probably true. At any time, it's around 2% of the population who have very serious problems, but many of us are affected at different times of our life. So don't think of this as something kind of to compartmentalize. If you do, it's a very big compartment. It covers most of us from time to time. I then wanted, just again by way of background, to remind ourselves that mental health crisis feeds financial problems, but having severe financial problems, running into problem debt, also feeds mental health issues. So it is, rather than seeing it as one or the other, see it as something that's turning all of the time. I won't go through each of the boxes. They're rather, I think, they're pretty obvious for themselves. But see it all as part of a continuum of experience and behaviour. So how do mental health problems affect us? Well, the first is, if any of us at any time have mental health problems, the first thing that goes is that ability to concentrate, to think things through, to come up with the right decisions for us. I mean, my fellow speakers have already alluded to this. Absolutely what our research shows. And I should say that our research is based on maintaining a community of over 5,000 individuals who have experienced mental health problems or cared for others who have mental health problems. So all of our research is based on going back to this community. We're constantly adding to it and building it and whatever, but it is the kind of foundation stone of every contribution we make to public debate and to all of our wonderful publications. A small ad here, Roger. If you want to know more, go to our website. It's all there. All of the publications can be downloaded. Please do. But the first thing to go is attention span. Memory is often affected. If you are not feeling good about life, it's hard to kind of deal with those everyday and rather tedious details about getting the bills paid and everything else. So many of us, when we're not feeling good, are also more inclined to seek more instant gratification. And one way of seeking that gratification is to spend more, and to spend it impulsively, and to spend it quickly. So in one way or another, it becomes harder and harder to plan your affairs if you're not feeling good about life. I've just picked out here and there kind of quotations which I think illustrate the point about, generally about the relationship between money and mental health problems. This one, the whole process and comparison is complex enough, let alone with a brain that can't work out or deal with getting up and making a cup of tea in the morning. And another one, the anxiety at having to pick up the telephone because there's me so much distress that it can often take me weeks to build up enough courage to make a call. Worse still, it can take even more weeks to recover from. So here, what we're hearing here is people with lived experience, and they're just saying that the everyday things we all do are made so much harder. And you know, when it comes to your utilities, the things you need most, your energy, your gas, your electricity, your water supplies, your mobile phone. I suppose in the home of BT we should mention landlines as well, because they cover both. But these are the things you need to make life easy, and they're the first things to become hard when your health isn't good. Proportion of people who've disclosed information. Now this directly speaks to points made by Claire and Caroline, that actually it's very hard to declare a mental health issue or problem. If you do declare it, you really have to have a good listener on the other end of the phone or the other end of the email or whatever. You need, from that point on, to be shepherded through. But if you look at the colours here, the purple bars are those, this is by the way from our own survey, 434 of our research community. The purple bars are the people who declared, and the kind of turquoisey colour is represents the addition where people actually got offered additional help or support. So to the utilities, to the banks, to any corporates dealing with individuals who are in any form of mental distress, we say, make sure that the moment you pick up an issue, that you throw resource, experience and understanding at it. It is the single most helpful thing you can do at that moment of crisis, and it can make the world of difference. It will benefit the individuals who are in mental health problems at that moment, but it will also benefit your business, because at the end of it, you will have a contented customer rather than a customer who's feeling unhappy. So paying for services. We've heard several times today about the importance of simplifying everything to do with utilities and essential services. If the bills are simple, it makes life an awful lot easier. As an ordinary customer, I have to say that's true for me, as well as for those who at a particular moment are in financial crisis or in mental health crisis. Those things are so much easier if they're simple to read. Customers in arrears, I will skirt over that and just leave you to kind of look quickly at the bars. Proportion of people with mental health problems who've been surprised by the size of a bill, and proportion who are not confident that they understand their bills. So again, the purple bars represent surprise. The turquoise bills, those who are not confident that they understand. I can see that I'm beginning to run out of time, so I shall get to my last slide quite quickly. But again, they give you a measure of the problems that people are dealing with. So you might ask, for my last slide, why do I have a picture of a guy with a backpack walking past a pedestrian crossing. Because in a way, this photograph illustrates the policy conclusions that we want to get to. If you're walking along a road and you come to a drop curb, it makes your life an awful lot easier. Not simply if you have a disability, but also if you're pushing a stroller, or maybe you've kind of had a skiing accident and you're limping along on crutches. A drop curb makes life so much easier. It's good for people with disabilities. It's good for all of us. We take much the same approach to financial services. If you can actually do things which help people with mental health problems, you will almost certainly be making life easier for everyone else at the same time. So rather than segment vulnerable consumers too much, the historic approach we've taken, rather than segment them too much, try and find out what the problems are, what the circumstances are, and come up with solutions which work for them. And if you do, you'll make it better for every consumer everywhere. Thank you very much, Roger.